Coming up is a brief interview with Chris, a follow-up from my earlier YouTube video with the Wim Hof method and epilepsy and NEAD.
So many people have asked about the Wim Hof method and the epilepsy, especially since our video a couple of years ago. You had an epileptic attack which led you to have your tooth knocked out.
Yeah.
And then you ended up in the dentist chair. So let's just home in on the dentist chair.
Yeah.
What happened with that episode?
So after I'd knocked that tooth out, I'd left a root in. So I'd gone to the dentist, and Christian had numbed the area. It was just about to pull the root out. And I don't particularly like dentists anyway. I get quite anxious when I'm going. And I started coming over a bit strange, like a cold sweat. Didn't feel right. The room was spinning. So I said to Christian, and he called over his tutor, Miss McLaughlin, and she said that I just started breathing very, very strange. So they got the monitors on me. My stats started dropping. And then I continued breathing strange. That's how they said it. They just said that I continued to breathe strange. My stats all started to come back up to normal as such. And then I just kind of snapped out of it. They said I'd started convulsing and then kind of stopped. They said it was very mild. So again, I mean, to me it felt like the after effects of it felt like a non-epileptic attack.
Right.
Obviously suffering both epilepsy and non-epileptic attack disorder. It's hard to differentiate sometimes, but the after effects of that fit felt like a non-epileptic attack to me.
Okay.
Because it would have been 8-9 hours afterwards had it been an epileptic, and it was an hour and a half, 2 hours. But yeah, they all just described it as breathing funny.
Okay. Now, what was your account from that? Do you remember what happened on the chair?
I don't remember a great deal about it.
Okay.
I remember waking up on the chair, and then I fell back asleep, which is normal. And then I woke back up, and I was back at my flat with one of the nurses from the clinic with an oxygen tank. She didn't have it on my face, she was just sitting there with it. And that was my account of it, really.
Okay. So you don't remember how you was set? Did you not say you felt dizzy or faint beforehand? You just literally...
it just like a cold sweat. It was like the room was spinning. I didn't feel right. I knew something was coming, which again is very unusual.
Oh wow. Okay.
I do not get a warning at all. I think I've had maybe 2 warnings the entire time I've had epilepsy.
Okay.
And that's coming up for 30 years.
Wow. So for me, this is really interesting, especially when you text, because A, you don't normally get a warning, and you did, and secondly, you voluntarily went into the Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah.
Per se.
Well, I mean, I think we'd just done a session maybe the week before. I think we'd done 2 or 3 within the month prior.
Yeah.
So whether it was like a mindset,
it
or
might have
a
been
second nature type, I don't know.
No, and this is good questions to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Because when you're going into that state, technically you're going unconscious. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then your response was the Wim Hof breathing. So somewhere in your subconscious, you're wanting to get that, and it obviously equalised your stats, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So really, really interesting stuff. And you know, all these questions of how innate wisdom and how the body works, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's more studies to be done.
I mean, one thing that I would say is, if you're ever going to start the Wim Hof or do the Wim Hof, is contact your GP or your psychologist, whoever.
Yeah,
you know,
especially with
your
epilepsy.
specialist first.
Yeah.
Because it's it's a
taboo subject,
taboo
isn't
subject.
it? Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, I asked my neuropsychologist.
Yeah.
And she was savvy with it. She's quite interested in it. She wants to know a lot more.
Fab.
So.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this brief interview with Chris, and I'll be sharing more as and when Chris's journey with the Wim Hof method unfolds.